I thought a good little palate cleanser to kind of like introduce the channel and go through the large array of things that I could be listening to and could be, consuming, is I thought I would do a roll 20 D20 vlog where every time I roll a dice, I have to do whatever it says on this list of dice prompts. Now, I have made these all myself, and we will see how many of these I get to. So, yeah, got my handy dandy die. This was made to me by my friend Valeska for her own campaign. Yeah, she made dice for everybody, which was pretty rad. So, yeah, let's see how this roll goes. 11. Okay, what is 11? Read a cyberpunk story. Okay. Yeah, okay. So maybe an official cyberpunk like comic. I think there was some cyberpunk comics. Yeah, I think I'll read that. I'm gonna go get some breakfast, but when I get back, I think I'll read a cyberpunk comic. So that's gonna be physical. Let's do another roll to see if I can have anything I want to do on audio. 20. Read a tie-in with a Goodreads score on or above 4.0. Ooh, okay. I will let you know what I get to, and that will be my audiobook. And there's Loomis. Loomis, don't clean yourself on camera. I mean, you weren't. Anyways, I did that, not you. Sorry, Loomis. So it's actually been a surprisingly kind of like a random productive day in a good way. First off, I had to go pick up something from just like a small thing from the grocery store, so I had to do a walk around. This is my brand new house, by the way. Whoa. I bought a house since I was last doing videos, so wow, look at this. Brand new house. This is the top floor. The bottom floor is the basement. I'm sure I will show you that later on. But I went for a walk to the local grocery store and grabbed a thing of peppers. It was literally the last peppers left, and luckily it was in good shape, so thank goodness. But as I was doing that, I went to the local mall and just did some walk-arounds, and I happened to walk into the Best Buy, and the Best Buy had a deal. If you switched your phone to Bell, because I was on Fido, but it's like if you switch your plan to Bell, you get for $35 a month, you get 100 gigs and a $100 gift card to Best Buy. So I was like, well, okay. I mean, yeah. I had literally just paid off my phone, and I was literally paying $35 a month for 50 gigs. So I was like, well, I want a new TV, so this seems like a good idea. I had originally just gone in to grab speakers, and the speakers were originally $40, but since I got that deal, they put the speakers for $15. So I got the speakers for $15 and a $100 gift card just for switching my phone over with no commitments. Like, I could literally only have it for a month and then switch back to something else if I wanted to. And I was like, well, I don't see any negatives here. Might as well. So I did that, and then I have ordered a new television that is going to be coming in because I was like, well, I have some money set aside, and this is the last big thing I want to do. So I got a brand new HDR TV that was on sale. So I only paid about $300 because of the gift card. And yeah, it's what I want, because I have an really old 4K TV. Like, we're talking like it's probably 11 years old. Like, I think my TV was like from 2015. Oof, maybe even earlier. It's hard to say. Like, it can't be any more than like 2017 at least. Like, that would probably be the max age. But regardless, it still works. The TV still works, so I'm still going to use it. But I'm probably just going to put it up here, and then put the new 4K down there. And just basically, I wanted the HDR, which is the high dynamic range for the colors, because I have quite a few 4K DVDs and Blu-rays, but all of my 4K Blu-rays do not look good on a just base 4K TV. To me, they all look really dark, and it's because they don't have the HDR, the high dynamic range, available. So I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. So yeah, that HDR update will make it so that I can actually watch and really enjoy some of the cool 4K Blu-rays that I have. I have two things that can play at 4K I have my PS5 and I also have an Xbox One, so both of those should be fine for the HDR. And while doing that, I have been listening to the first, because my first role was to read a tie-in book that had over 4 stars on Goodreads, and so I've been reading the very first novella in this collection by Mike Brooks, and I've been listening to this on audio because I of course I have this on audio. But the Gabo's Revenge, and I am legitimately, I'm literally at the last chapter of that. So I will listen to that while I go on a walk, because I'm just going to go and do a little local thrift store walk around, not buy anything, but I just feel like going for a walk type deal. But because of that, I will be out and about when I finish the book. So I thought I would do another roll to see what audiobook will be replacing that. I have not finished read the first roll, which is the Cyberpunk comic, but I did find one, so yeah. And also, Loomis is crying. I gotta go figure out why that's at. Okay, so let's roll up. 19. What is 19? Oh, play a solo RPG. So that will be after Cyberpunk. I will play one of the Steve Jackson's games. Maybe I'll try this one. Caverns of the Snow Witch. But because it's not an audiobook, anyways, I have that. That's not something I can do on audio, so let's go. 3. Paint a mini. Okay, that's a thing I will be doing while I get to the next audiobook. When I come back and I, get to the next audiobook and do more, I will paint a mini while doing that. This is just hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna highlight these ones that I got. Hopefully we get one that I can actually do. Another one, that was 4. Put together a mini. That's funny that I put those right beside each other, but I can put together one of the minis and then paint them. Wow, what a day. Okay, 17. Read a tie-in to a piece of media that has had an RPG made from it. So these are not things that are actively comes from an RPG, but this is like a property that has been created from an RPG. What's up, Loomis? What's up, dude? What's up? I was just gonna go down and see what was up with you. Nothing? Okay. Anyways, so yeah, there are quite a few audio options for that. I think I will go with I was going to go with Predator, but I just realized there was never been a Predator RPG. There's been plenty of Alien RPGs, but there's never been a Predator RPG. Oh, interesting. That is funny. Because as will say, oh yeah, I could do a Predator book. And it's like, no, you can't, because I don't think there ever was a Predator RPG. What a loss. Why? That is wild. I can't believe that. I was just trying to think of that. So then, I guess... Looking over something nice and quick and easy. Well, look at this. There's just a lot of stuff. I will start an Alien book. I will start an Alien book because, of course, there's the Alien RPG, and I do have a number of Alien novels that I need to get to, and there is a cool site that does a lot of Alien audiobooks, so there is something for me to seek out. So, yeah, I'll read the next book in the Aliens franchise, and I'm currently on the Bantam Books line that I'm reading. Like these guys, I have read this one, but yeah, the Bantam Books one, so... I think it's either like Berserker, it might be Berserker, Music of the Spear, something like that. There is a cool YouTube channel that has those all in audio. So, yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Talk to you guys later. So, I finished the Red Gabo It's Revenge of the Red Gobbo. I think that's the first one's name. Let's look. The one by Mike Brooks. And let me see. The history of the Red Gobbo in Warhammer starts in a game called Gorka Morka. And which is just like a whole bunch of... Sorry, Dagobbo's Revenge is what it's called. Which is like this really fascinating game where there's like basically like a ton of orcs stuck on a single planet, and there's all these different factions fighting in and out. And the Red Gobbo has become, in modern Warhammer, like this weird kind of mix of like a communist for the people revolution by basically the goblins. They're called grots in Warhammer, but they're basically goblins who are like the lowest class of the lowest caste, not class, caste of orc society. Where are all my cats? They just hide in the thing. But anyways, and the Red Gobbo is like this guy who very much does look like a, a traditional looking communist, and he's fighting for the revolution. And it's really, really kind of fun and an entertaining story. And Mike Brooks is one of my favorite Warhammer authors right now. And this is just a really fun, silly as heck book about these orcs going through a human ship, and the grots, the little goblins who are helping them out, getting kicked around, and then eventually going like, we're gonna start our own thing, and we're gonna take over the ship on our own. And that's basically like the main plot of that. And yeah, it's really cute. And haha, that's the kitties. They hang out right here at this spot, I guess. But anyways, and it was a really funny book, and I could see why it's higher on, over 4 stars on Goodreads. And yeah, it was just a really, really fun book. I love all of Mike Brooks stuff, and this was no different. And yeah, it had a really fun audiobook because it was very much narrated with the, oh, what are you talking about, the goblins? And it's just so much fun and silly. And yeah, I had a really good time with it. And then on my walk, I did stop by the thrift store, and the thrift store had some cool little things there. There was a Film Facts and a Starlog magazine that I found, and it was at the used bookstore where I have a bunch of credit, so it didn't even cost me anything. So yay! Now I have started Alien's Labyrinth, which is going to be the other audiobook when I was coming home. I was listening to that. And I'm just going to make some supper. I have my Patreon has a movie night tonight, and we're watching House of the Devil, which is a movie I love and haven't seen in a little bit. So yeah, that'll be really fun to watch and enjoy. So yeah, that's what's on the docket for tonight. Probably going to put together maybe a mini while I'm watching the movie, or just hang out and watch the movie. Not really sure yet. And also, I had a really cute little thing come in from one of my patrons as well, since this is my new home. See, this is the basement of my new home. You're kind of getting a little tour just by how this is going. And yeah, I had a few friends who wanted to give me some... Uh-oh. What was that? Oh, just Claude jumping from there to there. Had a few friends who wanted to buy me a little bit of housewarming gifts. And my friend Christine bought me these cute little cat bookends. And I thought it was very cute. I thought they were different when I put them on, but I thought they were literal stands like this. And that's not really what they are, but they still are cute as hell, so I don't mind them. And the other one is right there. And I just think that's very cute. So yeah, super happy with that. Just a nice little day. And here, let me show you the Film Facts things that I found, because I just thought it was pretty cool. Not necessarily much to do with tabletop stuff, but this is a vlog, so there's going to be some slice of life stuff here. Oh, now you're up here, eh? One of the things on my Patreon is the Weird Movie Club, so obviously I had to buy weird B movies from A to Z, Film Facts magazine issues. I'm sure I know 95% of these movies, but still, it's going to be super fun. And then this kind of Best of Starlog book, which is kind of cool. So yeah, cool stuff. Enjoying the day. Let me read some comic books And I'll update you in a bit. Look at how cute Cloud is. Boo! You're so very cute. I want to catch you on film. Yeah, I want to catch you on film. Boo's on film. Boo's on film. I just watched House of the Devil with the Patrons. And, that's what people think happens if you play D&D in the 80s. In a Christian town. So, there you go. The Satanic Panic. Yes. So much panic. Over the satanic. Oh, you're so fluffy. You're so fluffy. You're the fluffiest fluffer. Oh, look at his belly. Now that's a good belly. Since we last talked, Boo has now been adopted by me. He's mine now. Forever. You can't escape now, Boo. You're mine. You're mine. Okay, just finished this story. Cyberpunk 2077 Psycho Squad. Now, this is, based off of the video game, primarily kind of like a spin off of the video game, although it's kind of more set in the world of the RPG, it seems like, because I haven't played the video game, but, there was nothing even remotely hard to follow in this, and it all kind of flowed together really well and kind of stood out as its own product, I think, and was just a pretty good cyberpunk story. So, there's a lot of stuff that I haven't had a lot of familiarity with, even the role-playing game. I've never played the cyberpunk role-playing game, but this was just kind of this interesting story about this specialized, police force that had to take down dangerous criminals who had a bunch of cybernetics in them. And from what I understand, in the cyberpunk universe, there's a certain threshold of humanity where if you put too much synthetic robot parts into your brain, you could just go insane and cause mass harm and kill so many people, and there's a limit to how much you can augment the human body before you just lose all touch of self and kind of go crazy. And this is kind of the story about the guys who go in and deal with those outbreaks, but they're so brutal. They are incredibly brutal, and a lot of the people who they're going after, you kind of get little glimpses into their lives, and it's some of them have been they had to install illegal parts to stop sleeping because their work had such high expectations for them and just kept demanding more and more of their time, and the only way they'd be able to keep up with it and to afford to live basically in this big crunch that their company was going through, they had to basically just give up all of their humanity, and one day they just snapped and killed everybody. And yeah, it was just really kind of interesting because it very much kind of went into the endemic problems of the society. And obviously this is one of those more out there in terms of science, but the metaphors that it's trying to tell and the things it's trying to say about our world is very clear, and is very coded about the police and how we deal with the people who are not healthy, and just how we deal with people who are mentally ill and just deal with those issues, but the society that creates and perpetuates a lot of the problems and has very, very dramatic, brutal solutions to them that don't really solve the problems, they just mitigate them. And yeah, I don't know, I thought that was pretty relatable to the world we live in today. Yeah, I definitely will be doing a bigger, exploration of cyberpunk just as a franchise in the future, because yeah, I just never had much experience even with the RPG. So I would love to kind of just do a deep dive one of these days and have a video where I'm just kind of learning the history of cyberpunk. But yeah, I thought this was pretty interesting and a pretty good comic. And yeah, I would recommend it, even if you're not really a fan of the universe is from. If you are a fan of cyberpunk stories, just the subgenre, I definitely would recommend this. Good morning. It's the next day. I literally went to bed at 9 p.m. last night because I was just worn out and tired. It's kind of a busy day of running around. I have just been like conking off super early in the new house, and I just think it's because I'm like expending a lot more energy doing stuff. When I'm at a little bit more of a normal pace, I'll probably be back to the 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock bedtime kind of thing. But anyways, so yeah, I got to do taxes today, which I'm not super worried about, but I do have money set aside just in case. And then, yeah, so I'm going to be listening to a little bit more of Aliens Labyrinth and going to build that and paint that mini. And then, of course, I got to play the solo RPG. Not me. Oh, look, it's Boo. Boo. Boo's picking out. Boo's picking out. I'm probably going to start the day with just some YouTube videos, so yeah, it's going to be a chill day. Hey, I have to go do it and shovel light snow for the first time in my new apartment. Technically, it's a home. My new house. I own this place. Bingo bango, ha-ta-ta. Yay! I'm going to go clear this off now. I mean, I don't know why I should be so excited to do this. It's going to be kind of a bitch, but anyways. I'm going to use a normal shovel, I think. I just had coffee, so I think I can do it before my disability kind of takes me off the rings. But I guess I'll have a better idea of how I am once I do this. So yeah, cool. Talk to you later. Oh no, as soon as he learns how to turn on the lights, it's gonna be like, hey, I'm hungry. It's so cute. Okay, so a bit of an update. I did finish the novel Aliens Harvest. I think I called it Aliens Labyrinth earlier. It was Harvest. And yeah, it was like a pretty okay novel. But the problem with that book is that it does make the cardinal sin of our main characters 100% just sacrifice a dog, and then it wants you to kind of be like invested in the rest of their story. And I'm like, no, these guys are like horrible. They sacrifice the dog. Like, why would I care about them even a little bit? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, as soon as that happens, because like in the book, in the original comic, I swear, I thought that there had been a moment in the story, in the comic, that ends with the dog surviving. And like the novelization of that comic, Claude just going crazy, does not seem to indicate that that is the case. And now I'm like, do I even want to read that comic again to figure out if that is just something that I did not properly remember? I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I was like, well, these guys suck, and that dog got sacrificed. And I feel like all of the Bantam books, novelizations of the Dark Horse Alien comics, so far, it's like the only one that has ever been truly, truly great is the first Alien vs. Predator Prey, which is by Steve Perry and S.D. Perry. I thought that was a fantastic book. Like, I thought that book was really, really good. But at this point, this is the fifth Aliens, just straight up Aliens Bantam book that I thought was like okay. I think like pretty much all of them are okay. And this one is also similarly okay. It's not as crazy as the last one. Aliens Genocide was a nuts books and it had like tons of crazy, crazy, crazy bonkers stuff. This one kind of wanted you to like emphasize with characters who knowingly kill a dog, and I'm like, no, I don't think I am. And while finishing that book, I also put together and did the first coat of paint for a miniature for Huron Blackheart. I took a little bit of footage of me kind of like building the miniature, but I did also prime him, and I'm counting that as my painting version of that. And yeah, it is kind of hilarious that yes, I did do taxes today, and I got a return on taxes, and then I built Huron Blackheart, who in the Warhammer fandom, the meme is that he is the biggest tax evader of all time. That is very funny to me that I'm like, haha, I did taxes today. I'll build Huron Blackheart, a man who in the community is famous for tax evasion. Whatever. This is an awesome mini. I am really excited to paint him up more. But yeah, I built him and then I primed him, which I'm considering the priming as the painting, quote-unquote, portion of the thing. And yeah, I don't know. I hope I can paint him justice. So yeah, other than a single thing, man, one, this freaking, yeah, you can still see it a little bit in the paint. The glue, because like the freaking, this wire between his like the power fist and his like power pack was horrible to do, was really, really difficult. Other than that, the miniature went together pretty well. Although there is, yeah, so see this part of his cape, that is not supposed to end in just a squared off portion. It's supposed to be a little pointy portion like the rest of his thing, but the pointy part broke up. But other than that, the miniature went pretty well, and yeah, I'm excited to paint him up and see how he goes. And then, now, the only thing left that I have rolled for is for the solo RPG, and what's fun is, I didn't realize that this had come out even, because, so, Aconite Books, which is the current publisher of Arkham Horror, which of course is a board game of Arkham, which is like, you know, a subsection of the works of H.P. Lovecraft. They have been doing a number of what they call investigative game books, and almost all of Aconite Books material ends up on NetGalley before anywhere else, and I have been consistently getting them on NetGalley. For whatever reason, I didn't know that this one had come out. I had got the other two of these game books, and I thought this would be good to do for the solo RPG, because this is the brand that made me first actually participate in a solo RPG, because I had got it as an ARC from NetGalley and was like, well, if I'm going to review this investigator game book, I should actually go through the effort of like rolling the dice and writing all down all the stats and everything like that. So I thought that would be a cool thing to, you know, kind of like give tribute to that the newest one that just came out, the Kingsport Metamorphosis by Jonathan Green, who is a person who really knows his, his solo RPGs well. He literally wrote a history of fighting fantasy, which is, the big version of the solo RPG. So yeah, I thought I would play through this, and that would be my last one of all of the dice that I've rolled, and then I'm going to roll a whole bunch of new dice. So yeah, going to get my dice out, see how this goes. I am definitely going to have to try this some other night, because yeah, I was playing this pretty much for the last 3 hours, and I did not get a satisfying ending. But a lot of bad dice rolls, some questionable choices as far as the character I was playing, and yeah, no, this was really really fun, really well written. But like, I feel like all of Jonathan Green's case books are like kind of hard. They are pretty hard game books, but I kind of do appreciate that. And they are really simple. Like all you need is two six-sided die, and you can pretty much play the game and go by all the rules. And yeah, it's pretty simple. A lot of it is making choices and then eventually just rolling two dice and just going like, "Hey, did you succeed or did you fail?" And yeah, no, this was really really fun, and yeah, I really had a good time. And yeah, I like all these. I was kind of like fudging the numbers a little bit, which is very funny that I still didn't get a good ending. I fudged the numbers a little bit, still didn't get a good ending. So, yeah, definitely gonna play more of this when I kind of like forget the general plot, which I think is always a good idea for these ones. Um, but yeah, this was a very fun game, and yeah, I did all of the ones that I have so far. So let's roll some dice. I have both a physical book and an audiobook to go. Okay. 7. I can't fudge these numbers because, you know, they're, they're my numbers. 7. Ooh. Read a Lovecraft short story and then find a Call of Cthulhu module that references it. That's definitely going to be... That's going to be a weird kind of... No. I think I will do that physically, and then that'll be and find the Call of Cthulhu module, because a lot of people say that the Call of Cthulhu, which is by Chaosium, and that is the other big, if you're in the early, role playing game scene, Call of Cthulhu was the other one that was as big, not quite as big, but like on the same level as, uh, you know Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. So yeah, and it was more of like a horror based thing. And I really am, I just was playing a kind of a Lovecraftian solo RPG. So yeah, no, that's cool, and it'll be fun to see the short story and then find a module that kind of like has a reference point to it and see how that compares. So yeah, we'll see. Next, another one. This will be the audio. I've already done this, which is the read it. No, wait. I don't think I have done this. A really poorly rated. Yeah, no, I had the 20. This is 1. Read a good, read a tie-in with a Goodreads score under 2.0. Ooh, I'll let you know what that is when I get to it. Okay, guys, have a good night. I mean, I'll talk to you tomorrow. You're watching this at whatever time you're watching this. Anyways, whatever. Bye. Okay, so looking for things that are under 2-star rating on Goodreads is actually like pretty impossible for this challenge. I didn't realize how almost all Goodreads have at least an average score of 3. So if it's under 3, then that is means a lot of people are going ham and downvoting it. I did manage to find a Batman comic that is just skirting the line of the average rating of 2.05. Now, I've never read this. I have no idea what this is going to be like. And also, I was like, there had to be a DC superheroes role-playing game at some point, because it was like there had to be, right? Because there's the Marvel one I've seen. I see the Marvel one quite a bit. The DC one I've never seen in person, but yeah, no, it exists. And there's actually there was they did the 40th anniversary. They did a freaking Kickstarter for it, and it won. So yeah, DC Heroes is what it was called. But yeah, no, it's it's the closest I can get. The only thing that was like a pure, really badly rated freaking RPG tie-in is the novelization for the first Baldur's Gate, but that's still 2.72, and that's still a little bit too far of a swing away from what I was looking for, which is like the worst of the worst. I do want to read these because I know that they're terrible. I've never actually played the original Baldur's Gates though, and I love Baldur's Gate 3. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the best games ever. So I'm kind of interested to see how these novelizations of the first two games are historically some of the worst shit ever. People seem to hate this author. And now I haven't read it, obviously. I haven't even played the games. I only watched a few, kind of like a brief overview. So I can't say for sure, but I'm just, yeah, so it has not the best reviews. So yeah, I'm going to try Batman Fortunate Son, which is a bad comic apparently. And I'm amazed because I've never heard of this before. Bad comic books used to be something that I would have a pretty easily accessible knowledge on. And this is from 1999, and I don't recognize any of the authors. And yeah, I'm just going to go in and see what the hell is going on. Batman Fortunate Son. Hopefully, I survive. That was really, really, really bad. And then I looked up the creator. One of my friends looked up the creator when I was talking to him about the book. And he is a convicted sex predator. And I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, no, this is what happens when you roll a 1. You get the worst thing you've maybe ever read. This entire comic is about the evils of rock and roll, non-ironically. It's literally as an old man yelling about how evil rock and roll is. And the man who wrote it was a convicted sex predator. You can't make this up, folks. You cannot make up the fact that a guy who's going out of his way to talk about the morality of a genre of music is himself really terrible. Oh, God. So, yeah, this was awful and bad and terrible, and don't read it. And I'm sorry that I introduced it to you if you hadn't known it existed. And this is a warning now. Stay away from this horrible Batman comic. So I was waiting basically all day for the TV to come in, and it finally came in a few hours ago. So yay! I set up my new TV. This is a 4K Roku TV. I'm not going to use the Roku part much. I just don't care for the smart TVs just as a thing. But this has HDR, and that is a thing that I've been missing out from a lot of my Blu-rays that I own. When I buy 4K Blu-rays, the old TV was a 4K TV, but it wasn't HDR, so all my Blu-rays looked really, like my 4K Blu-rays, they looked really dark. And I immediately noticed when I was trying to testing it out with the PS5 that it looks way better. The only thing about this TV is, one, it's much bigger than I thought it was. I thought I had a 55-inch. I did not. Oh, bless me. That's not a bad thing that it's bigger, because the other thing about it is the fact that it does not have any RCA anything for all of my old, super old stuff, like my old VHS and Laserdisc players. So I actually have mounted the other TV upstairs, which we'll go through and I'll show you. But yeah, other than that, I did listen to the Dunwich Horror, the H.P. Lovecraft story. And yes, H.P. Lovecraft, in his personal life, and in a lot of his stories, is a massive racist. There's a ton of things that are problematic about him as an individual, and his belief systems are very backwards. I will say, if you're going to read any H.P. Lovecraft, the Dunwich Horror is one of the ones that really, really ages well. It does not have a lot of his more problematic elements, and I found it just a really compelling, intriguing story that kind of makes you understand why and how he has affected most of the modern horror literature that we know nowadays. And you kind of understand that when you read the Dunwich Horror, because it all kind of melds together really well, and it's a really compelling story. Here is what I put this. And I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, it is a story from the from the early 20s. Late 20s. And as such, there's some dated stuff, but nothing that was I would even say is more dated than some of the modern books I've read. So yeah, I thought it was really, really good, the Dunwich Horror. And to partner that up with a Call of Cthulhu module, which is what the prompt that I was doing is, I have been reading. No. Oh God. Return to Dunwich, which is a 1991 Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. And yeah, it's been really good so far. I'm just kind of like going through it, and it's so interesting because yeah, I know Call of Cthulhu, the branch, and sometimes H.P. Lovecraft historians get mad because like a lot of the stuff that you consider H.P. Lovecraft a lot of that was kind of taken over and blended from the old Call of Cthulhu modules, and you could really understand that because the town of Dunwich in that short story, I think it's a short story or novella, I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of very lightly detailed. Like there's enough stuff in there for you to dive into what like is going on, and it's very kind of mysterious and otherworldly. And what's fascinating is that, in this, it's way more in depth because the idea is that, like, you're a character going into the aftermath of the story. So this is actually a direct sequel to the Dunwich Horror, and it was really interesting listening to that book and story and coming into this because yeah, it really does start off exactly where the other one ended, and as such it kind of makes it so that the entire area of Dunwich is completely expanded and explorable, and there's more going on than just what happens in the story and the aftermath of the story. And I think that's really interesting because you have to, when you're like doing a role-playing game, you literally have to create a space or at least have the capacity to mentally wing it for an entire area, because unlike most stories where you, the narrator, control where people go, the dungeon master or the DM or like whoever's running the game, they don't have control over what the people who are participating in the story do. And that makes it a very different type of experience as far as storytelling goes, because every individual has their own element that they can bring to create the story themselves. So like, if you have a main quest where some guy's like, hey, I want you to go figure out what happened with Dunwich, like where are the police that like were reported missing in the story, like where did they go, what happened to them, and you as a character who end up in the town might go like, hey, I actually want to explore the graveyard, and you're like, why? Now, because of a book like this, you as the person who's running the game now can say, these two guys run the graveyard, there are a hidden body here and it is of this person, and like there are all these little things that the player could uncover if they wanted to cover and explore every inch of the cemetery, even though you, the storyteller, want them to go to a different place. And it just gives a little bit of a background where, you as the person who is running a story are not left floundering every 5 minutes when people go and do something that you are not intending for them to do. Because the true way that a great game master will basically just give you the freedom to do whatever you want and work with that and try to tell a compelling story within that framework. So yeah, it's just really interesting because Dunwich is a great, the Dunwich Horror is a great story. Now it's a great world because they have to build that entire town and the history of the town, all the people who run the town, what is the wildlife like in the town, all of these things that like possibly most players who play this game back in the day, because it's 91, you would not have done even probably about 75% of the things that are in this book. But the thing is, if you ran this with like 7 different groups of people, they would each cover a different 25%. When you think about it, because of just how people are, somebody is going to be like, oh, let's go see if we can't stay at this old widow's house. Another person is going to be like, hey, can we stay at these two weird sisters' house for a few days while we're like doing the thing? And it just really kind of like compelling and expands this story in a great way. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying this. So yeah, I'll be reading this the rest of the night, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, I'll probably have to be doing some rolls tomorrow, but yeah, that's all that today was. Mainly I've just been kind of dicking around at home waiting for the TV to show up, and it finally did at 5 p.m. So I went for a brief walk and then relaxed, and now I'm here going to read more of The Return to Dunwich, a Call of Cthulhu expansion, or a game scenario. I'm not sure what you call it, but whatever. Okay, it is about halfway through Saturday, and I did finally finish reading this Call of Cthulhu kind of tie-in. I always forget how long and lengthy it is to read through these old campaign books. It's really like reading a full novel, even though they're only usually about 100 pages, because of the size and how they're spaced out and how much detail is in them. To read it all, it does take a fair bit. Luckily, if you're a person who is just playing the game, you don't need to do all that, right? So like a book like this, it is mainly for people who are running you through the game, and they can supply you with the needs and details. I will say what's kind of ironic is that this book has more dated language than the actual Dunwich story, which is wild. There's a few cases of, a little bit of problematic language here or there, and some really disturbing stuff that are not intentionally disturbing. Anyways, it's not a whole lot of that. It's only like a little bit. I think there was like maybe about 3 uses of it, but it still stands out when you read it. But other than that, I thought this was really fun and really interesting, and a weird, wild way to expand a story that is very contained. Adds tons of stuff and details to the town of Dunwich, and even at the end has like a little run through of everything that actually happens in the story itself. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So yeah, boom, got that done. And yes, I did move my computer over here and using this as, a little thing to extend it, my second monitor on the TV. And yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Let's do some dice rolls to see what else I'll get up to. I'm showing my Patreons some Hell of a Boss, which is a television show, in about 2 hours. But until that time, I do still have... Oh God. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how this frickin' thing works. Oh God. Where is my cursor? I can't... Oh, wait. I briefly saw it. Okay, here it is. These guys... Gotta bring it over here. Okay, there you go. Oh, the dual screens. Okay. That's my thing. Okay, let us roll some dice. Funny, because the Call of Cthulhu one works off a D100. That would be kind of a fun thing to do, D100s. 3. Paint a mini. Well, I do have Huron Blackheart primed. So that's good. So I'll paint Huron Blackheart. And then 7. Oh, I just did 7. I'm not doing that again. Nope. The 7 is a roll again. The mini things that, like, if I got a 1, I also would... I was about to say, 1 is the one that I found out was undoable, so I'm not going to punish myself. I can't believe I got... Anyways, some of this is hilarious. Okay. What do I got here? A 5. Read a book starting the last mini you purchased. So the last minis I would have purchased are Huron Blackheart and his gang, and there is a book by Sarah Cockwell. There's also the Mike Brooks one that is just about Huron Blackheart. But, oh yeah, here, the Gildar Rift. I think I have that one. Oh, this person didn't like it very much. I don't care. I did purchase this one, though. It's one of the Space Marine battles. The Gildar Rift. Okay, well, that's a pretty long one. I don't think there's an audiobook for this. No, there's not. Okay, so then... There was another one with him, though, in it, too, wasn't there? Let me look. Again, the short and sweet one by Mike Brooks I have already read, and I did quite enjoy that one, but... There's nothing super interesting about my orders, don't worry. The Gildar Rift... But there was another one with him in it. Aha! Tyrant of the Hollow Worlds. Also 480 pages. Okay, so I'm going to read the two of these. Well, this one actually stars more of the people that I... Yeah, because this guy is that guy. So I guess maybe I should read this one instead. Okay, yeah, I'll read Tyrant of the Hollow Worlds. So that'll be my physical book. Probably will be my last physical book because, like, it's going to be a while. Because if it's like a 400-page book, you know. Although, a 400-page Warhammer book, so... Did I roll another freaking one? Good thing I'm not playing freaking D&D, because that's insanely bad luck. I just rolled another! Oh my lord! Oh my god! My luck is horrible today. What is this? Okay, a 20. Which I also did, which is a Goodreads score. Well, if I'm not doing the negative one, I'm not going to do the positive one either, because I just rolled a 1 again. Oh my lord. Okay, 14. Learn a history of an RPG you know nothing about. Interesting. So I guess I'll probably listen to like a podcast on something that I don't know much about. Okay, so let's do another roll for an audiobook to see if there is one. 20 again. Jesus, I'm only getting the highs and the lows. 6. Oh, watch a D&D inspired movie. Okay, cool. I will do that tonight after Hell of a Boss. So yeah, okay. Let's keep going. I want to see if I got any audiobooks here. 8. Read an old RPG magazine. Oh, I wonder if I can do 2. I bet you there's old Huron Blackheart stories in an old White Dwarf. Oh, I'll do both. That's probably the better idea, because I bet you that early Bad Ab War was published in one of the White Dwarfs. I'll figure that one out. Okay, cool. So yeah. White Dwarf. Bad Ab War. So it was in White Dwarf number 101 that this was. So I think I can find that. I think I have that somewhere. We'll see, because I know I have the first 100 of them on anyways. Okay, well, we'll see if I can find that one. But yeah, that could be a fun thing to read. Would be the very first mention of the Bad Ab War, which is from where Huron Blackheart is from, and also just reading that old magazine. And then 10, watch a movie that inspired Vampire the Masquerade. So, I can do that tonight too. Okay, we're doing everything here. So I've learned a history. I am going to watch a D&D inspired movies, and then watch one of the movies that inspired Vampire the Masquerade. Now, at the end of one of the Vampire Masquerade frickin' tie-in, like the first big book about it, there is a number of inspirations, so I'm going to watch a movie from that inspiration. 11. Read a cyberpunk story. Already did that one. This is hilarious because I'm just looking for the audiobook. 16. Read the 16th book on your RPG shelf. All right, well, let's see what it is. And if it's got an audiobook, that will be what I read. Do I want to start from here? Because if I do, it'll be a Shadowrun book, and I don't think those have audiobooks. Yes, I'm kind of fudging it a little bit, but screw you. It's my thing. Leave me be. Well, this one is more tie-ins than anything. So this is the... So we'll go down from down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19. Oh, wait, I totally... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Dragonlance Chronicles. Oh, Dragons of a Spring Dawning. That's the last book in the Dragonlance franchise. That's where I'm at. Yes, that's actually a great pull. Yes, because this is, yes, that's awesome. Because, yeah, I think this is the last, yeah, this is the final book in that OG Dragonlance trilogy. And I listened to the first two, and I'm going to listen to the third one. Cool. Awesome. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh, you know what? Let's look at let's get this, the Vampire the Masquerade thing here. Let me see. Vampire the Masquerade. And then I believe I found Vampire the Masquerade on archive.org. Archive.org is amazing for like everything. And I think the archive.org is where I found the Return to Dunwich as well, so that was kind of cool. Yes. Was this what I read? It's taking a while to load here. I think it was this. That's what I read, the second edition. Okay, well, it's taking a little bit to load, so I won't make you watch all this, but yeah. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be finding the movies, and I'll let you know. Okay, found it here in the Vampire the Masquerade thing. There's some really cool movies in here, like from Near Dark, Vamp, The Hunger, Nosferatu, Lost Boys. Man, I just got the 4K of Lost Boys. I should watch Lost Boys. Okay, I'll watch Lost Boys and a D&D inspired movie. What will it be? I want to make sure I have the name right before I know what it's going to be. I'll show you. All right, talk to you later. I'll show you what I get to. Okay, so for the role-playing game where I kind of just learned how to play and learned something about a role-playing game I didn't know much about, I chose the new Godzilla role-playing game because they had just released a kind of like a demo to kind of show off what it's about. They have a Kickstarter going on for this right now. And, you know, I love Godzilla the character. He is, you know, one of my favorite characters. I have a little bit of an obsession with the big guy, as you can see by this little thing there. Not even close to as impressive as some people's Godzilla shrines, but anyways, and there's some Godzillas up there. Anyways, I love the big guy. I'm a big Godzilla fan, and I wasn't sure about this role-playing game because, as you can see from this is artwork from the current IDW ongoing Godzilla comic, and I don't like it very much. I don't like that comic a lot because it's kind of very anime-y, and it has like a bunch of like super powered people fighting Godzilla, and I'm like, I don't, that's not interesting to me. It's not interesting to me because like I want either normal people trying to survive Godzilla in mundane situations, or I want like a focus upon like the monsters. And the idea that you like focus on the G-Force where they all have superpowers-y kind of thing. It's like something like Kaisei Energy, I think is what it's called. It all feels very anime, and it's just not interesting to me because I don't... This is a thing that I even have a problem with when it's like Godzilla in Marvel Comics and Godzilla in DC Comics, is that it's like, to me, it's not that interesting to see a man who has superpowers punch Godzilla. Like, I don't care about that. I don't want to see. I've never been into Superman fighting kaiju or anything like that. I don't think it's terrible, mind you. I enjoyed the new Superman movie, and there was a giant monster in that. But they had like kind of a twist to it where like Superman was trying to help the monster because he's Superman being a good guy. But anyways, that has never deeply compelled me, like the person who is human size being so powerful that they could punch Godzilla and hurt him is just not a compelling thing to me at all. And that's kind of what this entire comic is. But I was interested in the role-playing game because it has some pretty big designers here. Jervis Johnson, Gav Thorpe. I don't know Mark A. Latham like off the top of my head, but I imagine he's got a fair pedigree in role-playing games because these two have like a huge pedigree in role-playing games. And this is kind of just like an introduction where it tells you how to play the game, basically. And starting off, I was like, what? This is weird. Because starting off, it's a playing card-based thing where you use playing cards to determine, what you do and if you succeed, and how you play the game is with a playing cards and a deck instead of the conventional dice. Luckily, this is so dumb, but luckily I had this Star Wars Episode 1 1999 playing card deck. I didn't even have to go downstairs for this. I put it in a cupboard, and I remember when I was unpacking, you put it in the cupboard being like, I will never use these Star Wars Episode 1 playing cards. Why do I have 2 of them? And then, lo and behold, I used them less than a week later. So, you never know when things are going to be useful. But, yeah, you play as the US G-Force guy, and you have a bunch of, so in the comic book series, people have superpowers. But, like, this one, I didn't mind this as far as, like, a role-playing game because it seemed like this guy was kind of just, like, a normal dude and had normal human-y powers to, like, try to survive and, like, fight in a giant kaiju universe. And the story of this, I actually think is kind of interesting. I think the writing in this introduction is not bad as far as writing goes because you are just, like, a dude who's sent to guard a piece of Biollante who is, like, fallen off of the monster in the monster battle, and you basically just have to have a few things where you tell various citizens to go away, this is dangerous, you gotta stay, and you gotta convince people to leave. You have little challenges to search a building to see if you can find a better weaponry or some better shielding for yourself because you feel like bad stuff is going on, and things like that. And the end is a little fight between you and this kaiju remnant thing that kind of comes back to life, and it's I'm gonna get you, and you have a little fight. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that the writing in this was pretty interesting. I think that the playing cards just don't work super well for me right now in my head. I think I'm not gonna say this is a poorly made system because I feel like you just need to have some time with it, and I think for some people this is actually easier system than most. Where, for me, it's a roll a die. I get it. The brain goes here. I get a minus of this die roll. If I get above this, I hit. If I get below this, I hit. And, this one where it's just, basically a lot of it is, you pull a card. And if you pull a card and what you're trying to do is, say, intelligence, and you play this card, which is a 2, it gets a bonus of 1 because it's this card, and then you get a +2, which is the normal thing. So this would become 5 when I lay it down. And it's interesting because it starts where you pick up 3 cards in a better shuffled deck. I did not properly shuffle this deck, which I would guess would probably be important in a proper thing. And then you have a bunch of things of chance, and there's a lot of things. There's even and odds where you pull a thing, and it's ooh, do I get this or do I not get this? And it's very, very interesting system that I think probably if you played this properly, where you had a pen and paper and I had all these written down and I had all these little rules written down in my head, it would work better. But this learn to play book kind of makes you learn as you go. So it puts you through an adventure and you slowly learn as you go through the adventure, which isn't terrible, but I would probably have preferred if like there were 6 pages of rules and then 6 pages of the adventure, because I feel like learning as you go makes everything a little bit more complicated because you have to remember all these different things and that. And like also the final fight in this seems like very hard to win. I was like, how do you win in this? Because you have a willpower of 3 and you are fighting this like remnant thing and it's got a willpower of 5, and in just the normal combat order you have to beat it 5 times unless you do this risky challenge. I didn't have the cards to do this, so anyways, I lost pretty terribly. So but I found this like little scenario well written. I'm just not fully sold on the card based aspect. And also, I think a lot of this role-playing game will depend on what the setting is and the details behind what they're going to be doing with the Godzilla license, because this is distinctly tied to that IDW comic, and I just hope it's not too much like this, because, yeah, see, there you go, Kaiju Kaisei era comics, and it, like, really goes through all this. And I don't love that comic book, so it kind of makes me a little bit worried as to what this role-playing game will end up being. If you, as a player, will have like a power fantasy where you can eventually fight Godzilla, which I just think is boring. I would be way more interested in one of these where you're, for the entire game, kind of underpowered, and maybe you get to like pilot a Mechagodzilla or something as like a final thing. But yeah, anyways, this was a well written and well kind of put together little demo. Was just very kind of surprised by the concept of the playing cards, and I'm not sure if I like that yet. And I also don't know if I like where the core of the game will be pulling from story wise and how that will play out. Now, obviously, you know, if you are doing a role-playing game, as you do a role-playing game, you can just take the stuff that you find interesting and do your own thing with it. You do not have to do everything that they say there. I could just do what I just said because they have good, like, base rules for just a normal person. I could make that my own thing where everyone does not have powers and it's just like a people trying to survive. But yeah, I don't know if that will be the main focus on the game as a whole. So we will see. But yeah, no, that was kind of interesting to learn that. And yeah. So a few things I got to change in my brains. So I was looking for a specific issue of White Dwarf, which wildly is the one that I could not find a PDF of online, which is so wild. I was looking for White Dwarf 101, which is the very first White Dwarf issue that goes over the Badab War in more detail, and which is, you know, where Huron Blackheart is from. So I was like, oh, it would have been perfect, but I didn't find that one, so I'll have to read a different magazine. I think I have a few physical copies of, you know, old White Dwarfs, and I could actually just end up buying that White Dwarf issue when I get to it. But instead of for that, I'm going to read for the story featuring the last mini I bought, good old Luft Huron himself, Huron Blackheart. I'm going to read this story, Bitter End, by Sarah Cockwell, from Treacheries of the Space Marines. And that is actually a prequel, I believe, to her story that I was going to read for like the full book. So yeah, I thought it would be good to just like kind of read that little short story and have that be my contribution there. And look at Nami. She is beautiful. Okay, I will talk to you later. We'll see what I get up to. Oh, jeez. That kind of ruined the cuteness of that clip, but oh well. Violence. Violence has broken out. Oh my. Okay, so I was doing some walks today, and I was listening to the beginnings of the last book in that original Dragonlance trilogy, and I was really enjoying it. So I was having a good walk and enjoying that. And then I was reading a little bit of this Pyramid magazine for the magazine one, and this is really interesting because it's the very last one that they ever did in print. So that's kind of cool. And I've kind of just been reading through it and really enjoying it. And now I think I'm going to watch some movies and just kind of relax and hang out and maybe get some painting in, especially because, one of these movies is The Lost Boys, and I've seen that one a billion times. So yeah, kadinka dinka dinka, let us get prepared. So first off, The Lost Boys, which is one of the movies that inspired Vampire the Masquerade. Who would have guessed? The Lost and the Boys. The Vampy the Bampies. Then, two movies that are kind of inspired by D&D, The Way Bad Stone and Night Chills. These are both supposed to be like D&D-esque horror movies, so yeah, I'm really excited to watch both of those. Oh yeah, it ain't Lost Boys if you don't have one shot of the sexy random-ass sax man. Damn, look at that man. And look at this guy. Man, this movie's so good. It's so over the top and cheesy. I love it so much. It just completely gives in to all of its over-dramatic angles, which makes it perfect. Look at those freaking outfits. Great movie. Death by stereo. Hell yeah. What a great death. All the deaths in these movies are like fantastic, like A+. Some of the best deaths. Death by stereo. Yes. Lost Boys still holds up. There was a time in freaking high school where, like, I swear to God, I watched this movie like every single weekend and just over and over and over again. It was what I did instead of having a social life. I just watched the movie Lost Boys again and again and again. And I still know like literally 90% of the lines in this movie. And still holds up, and the 4K was pretty cool. Good looking 4K. I was obviously painting most of the time. Let me show you. This is not the greatest paint job I've ever done, but alas, is there such thing as a perfect paint job? I don't know. Let me go upstairs. I want to go upstairs with him so we can better see it, because I feel like the downstairs doesn't have the best light. Not that, I don't know, maybe this does not have the best light either. Oh, it's like snowing. Well, there you go. Oh, yeah, it's like kind of like crappily snowing. Oh, fuck. Okay. So yeah, here is kind of my first attempt at Huron Black Hearts. Not great. Some parts look better than others. Orange Loomis worked out pretty well. I kind of like the blue cape. I kind of like giving him like the little purple lion mane. His face looks horrifying, but like I guess that kind of fixed like cuz okay, let's see. What is he supposed to look like? Let me look here. Oh yeah. He don't look anything like that for me. So that's what his face is supposed to look like. Now let me show you how bad my face on him looks. It's not the worst face ever. Anyways, there is still some stuff I gotta do for here. Like I gotta paint the rock brown and then paint the rest of this and then go over again with the lead belcher to kind of get some of the places that I overdid. Try again with this fucking blue paint, which was the bane of my existence for some reason. Like it just was not sticking well. But yeah, it's going. It's going. I'm probably gonna put him aside for now and work on him another day. I feel this cape is gonna be the bane of my existence. I'll try to do it and just make it look like not so obvious. You can tell I was kind of like really, for some reason, this part right here was not sticking with paint, so it just was driving me crazy. Anyways, that's that. Now I will watch The Way Bad Stone and the Night movie, whatever the hell it's called. Night Chills? I don't know. I'll tell you when I watch it. Oh, gotta love weird VHS fantasy movies. Watching the Way Bad Stone, and it's really, really fun and wild. It really does get this LARPer feel to it. So cool. For the budget, this is like a pretty good set design. Like, they really did kind of like go all out on this one and try to make a real fantasy movie. Pretty cool. Cooking supper while I finished a movie. I think this is actually the end of the movie. Yeah. Making tacos. Surprise, surprise. That was a ton of fun. Not much in the way of like, character development or anything like that. Basically, the plot is a bunch of thieves steal something from a wizard, and a wizard gets a whole bunch of guys to get them back. Summons a whole bunch of warriors that he used to work with to get this thing back, and then basically they ambush the guys who stole it, and it's like 40 minutes of just a big giant fight scene with like a ton of violence. It was really fun. It had like a lot of like really like old school D&D vibes to it. And I was so surprised by like how violent it was. There was like quite a bit of like extreme like decapitations and stuff, and I was like, whoa. And the effects look pretty good. Like, it's a 91 movie that was like clearly just made on a budget, and yeah, no, I thought that was a lot of fun. So really glad I got that one. That one's from Bleeding Skull. Yeah, so yeah, that was fun. I probably am not gonna watch Night Chills tonight just because freaking when I was downstairs, Claude pressed a button on my soundboard, and I was like trying to frantically figure out how to get my sound back up, and anyways, I eventually got it solved, but it was so much so that I'm like, I'm just gonna go back upstairs and read. So yeah, I'll do Night Chills another night or another day, and I will definitely talk about that in a video eventually. So yep, talk to you later. Oh yeah, I actually got in a AV to HDMI thing, and I had to test it out. So I just turned on the Lizzie McGuire movie, and I'm watching the whole thing now. I don't care. This is not really relevant to the vlog, but who cares? I'm not the kind of girl who gives up just like that. Oh no. Nobody wants to dance with me, but I'm holding on. I'm gonna be your number one. They don't care at all. No, culture does not work on these guys, does it? I'm gonna be your number one. Okay, been going for a little bit of a walk today, and, I got some cool little finds at the thrift store. First off, I found some really funny books. This is just, I can't believe this exists. How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days. I gotta know how. I mean, I don't think he's married, so she doesn't succeed, but hey, it's a book. Maybe she does in the book. And then this weird Jan Williamson book. I always love to pick up some weird vintage horror when I find it. And then there was a whole bunch of comic books, and I had a whole bunch of credit at the store, so I just used it to grab some comic books. The original Infinity Gauntlet, Spider-Man, The Sinister Six, this Ultimate X-Men one, which I'm pretty sure is going to be terrible, because Ultimate X-Men does not have a good history. Rot and Ruin, The Theater, The Dunwich Horror. Hey, I just freaking read that story and a little thing about it. The Burning Black, The Legend of Black Shuck, and then 2 Punisher Max titles. So that was kind of cool. And then the big one is, I have been kind of like staking out the remainders of, there was a thrift store that got a ton of old Warhammer and Warhammer Fantasy old books for them. They were asking a fair bit for, the complete set of everything. So what happened is I picked up some of the ones that I really wanted, and then I just kind of left the ones I didn't want and didn't need. I wanted them all, but the ones I didn't need, I let them sit for a little bit, and then they lowered a price, so then I bought more. and then I left the last little bit there. And then luckily, they just did another price lowering. So this is where I picked up every other one that was there that I didn't have. That because these used to be like, I think there was like $15 at the start, and now they're like $5. This Eldar one was going for 60. This is actually one that I cannot believe I got for $20 because this is second edition Eldar book, which yeah, from 94, and yeah, this does not go for cheap online. So yeah, that's really cool. Eldar are not as popular, so that's probably why I got it. Freaking the Lizardman. Lustria, although, like, it might be more than just that. No, I think it is just the Lizardman. Or is that a campaign book? Anyways, I don't know, but it looks like it might be Lizardman versus Skaven, which is awesome. Warhammer Siege. Ooh, cool. Don't know anything about that. Warhammer Armies, Dogs of War. Again, don't know anything about that, but I've been sitting on waiting on that one to go down in price because it looked interesting. Warhammer the Empire. I have another one. So yeah, this one is from, this one's from 96. And then the other one I bought, which I was kind of waiting on to go down in price, was this one, which I think is the edition afterwards. So I thought that was kind of fun to get that. And then this cool collecting and painting Warhammer Armies from Games Workshop. No. When is this one from? Oh, this is from 98. But yeah, so that was a lot of really cool old freaking Warhammer stuff that I've been wanting for a while and just been sitting on waiting for the price to go down. And yay, it went down. Other than that, I've been listening to the freaking amazing Dragonlance novel that ends that first trilogy, The Dragons of Spring Dawning. Dude, this book freaking rocks. I am fucking loving this. I am loving this. So yeah, this is easily my favorite of the trilogy so far, and just has amazing action, really cool characters, and just I'm so into it. So I'm mad because my freaking headphones died, so I can't listen to the audiobook right now, but I might just sit down and while that's charging and start reading the physical one and then just pick up and switch around when I get to it, because yeah, I'm kind of hooked. So yeah, this is a really good day so far. So yay. Also, oh my goodness, on a walk I saw a sign that said free kittens, and I just brought it to the attention of the animal rescue that I work with, and they were like, oh good. So they went over and they grabbed all the kittens, and the kittens were apparently way too young to be like given away. So yeah, I kind of helped save some kittens today, but I also feel bad because it's going on the rescue as more kittens to deal with, but I can't really control it. Look at these two. They're like sentinels. They're like little gargoyles. Anyways, yep. I'm going to go back to the worlds of Dragonlance. Talk to you later. Okay, so I did end up finishing the final book in the original Dragonlance series, Dragons of Spring Dawning, and it was such a good ending. This is such a good ending to that original trilogy. I know there are more books, and I'm definitely going to explore more books as we go. Dragonlance is a setting that has a lot to explore, but I just thought that this was such a good ending to the series, and that original trilogy holds up extremely well and has really, really good stuff in it. And yeah, no, I thought that this was easily, for me, I think is my favorite of the trilogy. There's some amazing action. All the character stuff is done super, super well. So yeah, if you're a fan of fantasy, even if you're not a fan of Dungeons and Dragons or Dragonlance the series, I would recommend this because I think it's just a pretty fantastic book. And I listened to it mostly on audio. I kind of like switched around between audio and the book, like physical book yesterday. But the physical book has some really cool artwork in it. It has some really nice, cool little vintage artwork in it. So that was really fun too. I did also finish the Pyramid issue number 30 from March and April of 1998. Now what's interesting is this is the final Pyramid book that was done in print. So Pyramid was done by Steve Jackson's Games. I don't know a ton about GURPS, which is their general kind of like role-playing system that they had expanded to all of these different avenues. But along with GURPS and everything that went along with it, they did a magazine, and the magazine went digital after number 30. And I thought that the digital one probably would have just been a fluke and it would have just fizzled out, but actually, apparently, it ran until 2018. So, yeah, they were still doing Pyramid Magazine up to 2018, which is kind of impressive. But yeah, this is really interesting and has so many different little scenarios in it that were super fun to read. Even though I didn't know, like, to be honest, I don't think I knew, like, any of the game systems that they had, like, adventures for, other than, I briefly knew about Car Wars because I have some of those old things. I have, like, a series of old boxes from the games of Car Wars and all the Tank Wars and all the elements that like kind of tied into that. But other than that, like I've never actually read anything from Discworld, and this is all about Discworld. I have wanted to. I've heard good things about Discworld, but yeah, it was just that was kind of fun. And then obviously I knew Shadowrun, which I say obviously, but Shadowrun is the one that I am the most interested in out of this, and it was like a cool little Shadowrun adventure. And then there is things like this. I have no idea. Gothic Surf Shop, which is for GURPS Cyberpunk, and I don't know how this is different from like normal Cyberpunk. And there was like some weird like angel stories as well in here, and it was all interesting. Like it was all cool little stories, but I genuinely had no concept over like this. This is like Heavenly Hell Jobs. This is all about some heaven stuff. Like it was interesting, but like I've never heard about this particular system. So yeah, I really do need to go in and kind of explore the weird world of Steve Jackson Games and GURPS, because yeah, I don't know basically anything about this or the system. So yeah, it was just really interesting. And also, what was really cool about this is there's a lot of reviews for contemporary systems and contemporary games, and there were novels here that I didn't know existed. Like I didn't know there were Traveler tie-in novels. Traveler was one of the very early sci-fi role-playing games, and I also didn't know like there was I absolutely have zero idea about what this system is, but the book sounded good. Here, let me. Oh yeah, there was a review for Postal, which this guy was pretty nice about Postal, and that is, anyways. That was troubling. But this is a novel called Pierced Heart by Robin D. Laws, and it's for a system called Over the Edge. No idea what that is. I have no idea what Over the Edge is, but the review of this novel made it sound really cool, and I looked it up, and the novel is still available in like PDF and stuff like that, so you can still get a copy of this novel. And yeah, it's just placed in Over the Edge, which is a game system in an RPG world I have genuinely zero concept and history with. So this was a really fun thing to read, and yeah, I'm just kind of excited to pop into these old role-playing game magazines, because there's so much stuff that I had no idea about. And one of the best things about doing this new focus on the channel is that there's so much exploration to do, and there's so many things that I just don't know about. And it'll be fun to find out. So now I'm going to do the last thing I'm going to do in this vlog, which is to do the one short story, the Huron Blackheart short story from Treacheries of the Space Marines. And yeah, that one's not too long. I'll pop in, give a little review of that, and then that will be it for this vlog. So yeah, talk to you in a little bit. So, last book of the thing is I read this cool little short story about Huron Blackheart, and yeah, it was a really fun little short story by Sarah Cockwell, and I don't think I've read any of her books before in the Black Library, so yeah, this was kind of fun to just read a short story by a female author, and yeah, it was really, really fun. It basically, like, explains how this little dude, the Hamadria, is kept. Oh, fuck, Loomis. Ow! Ow! You, get over there. My Hamadria just tried to murder me. You little turd. Anyways, it explains how he uses this thing outside of the warp storm. And basically, it describes, the origins for one of his little flasks and how it helps him do his evil. So yeah, this actually dried better than it looked. It looks better now than it did when I first painted it. Obviously, there's still quite a bit I have to do and final touches I need to do and touch-ups. But yeah, no, it looks pretty cool what I got so far. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So yeah, this was a fun little vlog. If you liked it and there were little elements that you want me to explore more of in the future, just let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys thought and if you guys have explored any of these RPGs or if you enjoyed the vlog. So thank you guys. I hope whatever time of day you're having watching this is good. Toodaloo.